Hey, what's up guys? It's your boy Kevin, Midnight Garage. Today we're working on a 2004 Mustang. You might have remembered it from the engine swap video. Customer states that the ignition is broken. The key doesn't actually do anything. So we're gonna have to get the steering column out and check it out, see what's going on. Customer has the ignition switch down here. And what the issue is that when you put the key in, it's just kind of free roaming in there, and not actually moving the ignition switch. So we're gonna get it, take it apart, and inspect it, see what happened. All right, here we go. All right, so first things first, we got to get the steering column out. Now, customer or whoever already got a lot of these panels off, but we need to get the whole column out. So we need to get connections undone. And then there are 4 bolts that hold this on. There's one right there, one directly across from it. And then closer toward the back, you see there's one right there, and then there's one across from it. Those 4 bolts hold the main body of the steering column up into the dash. And then we have the 1 bolt on the input shaft, like the steering column output shaft, right here at this flexible coupling. And that'll allow us to take the steering column out of the car, which is going to be way easier to get all this done, because what we're getting to, if you can see, is that plastic right there. That plastic is what moves this pin on the safety switch or the ignition switch. So let's work on getting this out. Since we're going to be dealing with the steering column and there's an airbag in that steering wheel, just like most repairs, we want to make sure we unhook the battery so that any systems are de-energized. All right, negative is off, good to go. All right, so let's get these off. Alrighty, let's get the let's get the steering column off. Now, it's very important that once you take this off, you don't mess with spinning the steering wheel around. Otherwise, you will jack up your clock spring. There we go. Just scooch that back into itself, and that gives you the space to get it out of there. Okay. Now, get these main bolts off. There's one. There's two. Okay. We got a connector here. And we got a connector here and here. I'm gonna need a flathead for this one. And then I gotta get them out of this. Do I have to get them out of the bracket? No, I don't have to get them out of the bracket because the whole bracket's coming with me. Okay, still need a flathead though. All right, so those are off. Now we can take these upper bolts out. All right, now we have one connection right here. We have a mega connector right there, and that takes out this harness right here. So we're gonna take it off right there. There we go. Steering column is out. Like I said, be careful. Do not spin this once this is disconnected right here, because you're gonna break the clock spring. So we're gonna move over to the bench and start getting into here. All right, now that we have the steering column on the bench, we're gonna take it apart. We gotta get this coupler off. We gotta get the spring off. We gotta get this off. We're gonna take this off. We're gonna take this whole assembly off of the shaft. So it's gonna be a little tedious. These springs are, this spring is like retarded strong. So when we get down to that point, definitely take care to not lose this. Don't get shot in the eye with it. Just be careful of this spring, okay? I'm gonna get the ignition cylinder out, and we're gonna do that by depressing this little ball that's right there. Once it's in a certain position, you push the ball in, you slide the whole assembly out. All right, so let's get it. All right, so let's get this off. All right, so we got the coupler off. Don't turn your back because this spring will want to send itself. So we got that off. We got this off. Okay. So now we have to get this bearing plate off. This comes off, and we're just going to keep this in the same orientation. I know that goes like that. All right. So now I want to get these out of the way. It's an 8. So get this 8. It's not an 8. Is that a 9? It's a 9, but a 10 grabs it. Go. Okay, those are out of the way. Slide this out of here. Now those are out of the way. I'm actually going to put this screw back in here so I know it goes right there. Okay, we get these off. Remember, this is under insane tension, and then your tilt actuators right here are also going to move. Like this is going to slide off of the shaft. Just be careful about this spring. One. Feel it move. Okay, that's two. Okay, so what I did is I actually moved the tilt lever so that these can relax. See? And this spring is not now under insanity pressure. Okay? There we go. Don't lose this spring. All right. So here is the pin, so you can see, that is supposed to go into this piece right here. This is supposed to be in here. And it has come out. Let's get this out of here. Set this aside. Here is your lock cylinder. This goes into the back right here. I don't know if you guys can see that. This goes into the back right here and actuates this rod. Inside here and see how this looks. Or doesn't look too bad. Huh. Really not that bad, to be honest with you. I think the biggest reason why this stopped working is because that pen came out. Yeah. Can lube it up again. Yeah. That pen came out. Wrong way. All right. So here, right there, is where the ignition switch is going to slide in this little groove right here. 2 bolts hold it right here. Sits right here and is actuated there, and then this sits over here like this. This pin is connected here, and that's what slides. Took off the lock release. Okay, that goes right here, just like so, and that is preventing this from going all the way up and down. You have to push this in order to get it all the way to off. Okay, so I removed that. Now I'm just trying to get this rod out of here, right? But in order to do that, you need 2 picks. And inside of here, get a light over here so you can see. Inside of the lock cylinder, you'll see a green tab. Green tab looks like this. Okay. You want to get your pick sitting in here like so. Okay, you want to get your pick, get behind it on this side, get another pick, get behind it on this side, gently pull so that it releases. Okay. Once you do that, inside of here is a this little metal piece right in here. Okay, you rotate, this little metal piece will line up so it can come out. You might need to grab like a little magnet or something so that you can get this metal piece out of here. So let me grab a little magnet. Oof, I don't have a little magnet. Let's get this fixed. Come on, you. Okay, so we're getting this out. Okay, now that that's out of there, right there. Now in there you can see this gear moving. Okay, that gear is toothed, and that is what's riding along the teeth of this pin here. That is going to need to come out. So we need to get this out. Okay, boom. Now that is out. You see, this is out. Okay, set that aside. Now this slides all the way out. Okay, this is the teeth area that runs with this. It's toothed just like that, and it spins. Okay, your key moves this gear, which moves this arm, which moves the other plastic piece that I showed you earlier. Okay, good to go. Now looking at this, this is in great condition. Teeth are nice and strong. Yeah, this is in perfect condition. So, I don't know. Maybe just too much force. And just right here on this part, like pulling on it, just finally worked it out. Because I mean, these are pretty in there. So let's look at the new one. New Motorcraft part. Okay. This is the new part. See how the pen sticks out of the side right here? And that's like pretty well press fit in there, dude. Very much so press fit in there. I'm gonna take some of this grease that's in here and smear it on this part. Trying to get as much of it off as I can. I want this whole thing to be slathered in this stuff. Much of it as I can get off. Might even borrow some from this other side. This got a lot. Okay. So Now this goes back down in there like so. Okay. And we got to get this lined up. This notch has to sit in this groove. Ah, it's a strong man. This has to be able to rotate in this groove here. I feel like this is the right combination. That way you have a little bit more backwards key turn so you can get to accessory position, but this should be far enough to where you can get the key out. That's the orientation. Okay, so the orientation, I'm gonna get the view of it for you. So the orientation of the green clip is gonna depend on the silver one, right? See how it's facing up and down? So this is the top, this is the bottom. Okay, bottom, top. When you put the key in, the key is also facing bottom to top, just like this. Okay, it goes in just like that, and now it is oriented that direction. Okay, we got that on. Put that in. Screw back on. See how we're looking. All right, guys. So it's a little bit of trial and error. You got to get it lined up right. But as you can see, I can go all the way to start, and then I hit the safety, have to lift the safety, turn it the rest of the way to get the key out. Okay? That is how you know you have it oriented right. Hit the safety, go the rest of the way, take the key out. Okay? Bada bing, bada boom. Now we're just going all back together. So, put these through here. That. Okay. All the while, I still haven't moved this steering wheel more than this. Remember, don't mess up your clock spring. Okay. So now getting this back on here, right? It's gonna be oriented just like this. These little fingers are gonna go on these little bars right here. But this has to engage into this pin. Okay? So you can go like that. Have it engage. Slide this over. Like such. Feed it into the channel. Like that. Okay? Now, That's just gonna sit there like that. This is engaged the way we want it. We cannot forget our spring of death sits right here. Okay, now we're gonna have to compress this spring in order to get the side bolts in. These side bolts need to go back in. Okay, we need the fingers to be on the outside of these rods. This is gonna take a little bit of freaking like elbow grease, but also like don't get your hands caught in here. This is gonna be a little tricky. Okay, and also you still don't want to break this pin here. Okay, all right. See if we can get these stretched out. We're hitting the rod. Okay, you see how we're almost there, right? We're almost there. We got these on the outside. This is about to line up here. Our rod and the other slide piece is in the channel, but we still got to get our spring in. Okay, the spring is going to sit in this little recess and on top of this little tab. It's a dangerous game we play, but we can do it. Just gotta figure out the best way to get it done. Nope, nope. Okay. There we go. Boom. See? See? On the tab, in the little recessed area. Fingers are still on the outside of these two pins. And then you just gotta fight against the spring a little bit. Okay. Do not launch the spring. Be very, very careful. There we go. This has engaged one of the stops on these arms. Let's see if we can get our pin in. Or screw. Yes, we can. Great. So we got that one started. About this side. I think we might have both sides good. Okay. So let's see. There we go. Okay, that side is in. I'm not tightening it all the way yet. Boom. Boom. Good to go. Okay. Fingers on the outside so they can grab in these little recesses right here. Like these are the positions for your tilt. Okay. These are tight, both sides. Our rod is still in the channel, and that right there is where our neutral safety or our ignition switch is going to be. Okay, we can move this, see, we can tilt, we can move it and tilt, move it, tilt, move it, tilt. These are all the different positions. Okay, that's how we know we're good. Bada boom. All right, so now we continue from the top, just assembling the rest of the column. There's that. Then we have this, that. Screw there, screw there, screw there. Okay. That. Spring. All right. Put our bracket back on for our connections. Guide them through this little plastic joint, like so. Back in here like so. Okay, bada boom. Good to go. Okay. We can put this back in the car. Okay. Steering wheel is locked. Right? Can't move this. Key in. Unlocked. Hole. Right? That's start. And then this is off or start, run, and then we're trying to turn it off. We hit the safety, bang. That's off, key out, and then accessory. All right. So I'm gonna get the safety switch. I'm gonna put this on here. Hopefully he left the bolts in the car. All right. So I got the ignition switch. So it should be off, which it's looking like it's gonna line up to the hole. Get that in there. What do we got? I'm just gonna hand tighten these. Okay. Test it out. There's our start function. Start, bounce back. That's run. Off. Key release. Out. Ignition. Off. Key release. Accessory. Run. Start. Run. Accessory. Off. Out. Accessory. All right. Now let's get this back in the car. All right. Back in the car. Set that there. We're gonna get this back up in here exactly the same way that we got it out. All right. Get some of these bolts hand started so you're not over here Superman in this thing up the entire time. Not insanely heavy, like some of the more modern steering columns. But I tell you what, man, if you don't have to sit here and struggle, then try not to. I mean, it doesn't mean that you're not gonna struggle though. Just saying. All right. I am gonna bolt this down. Then I'm gonna hook everything up and make sure it's working the way it's supposed to. This is a captured bolt. Well, just in case everything is all hunky-dory, let's just get this all situated. All right, we're gonna hook the battery up and check our operation. All right, let's see if we did this right. Key in. Chime works. First position. Second position. Looks good. Everything's turning on. We're in neutral. Clutch in. That sounds pretty damn good to me. Keys where it's supposed to be. Good. Off. Need to push the release. Out. If I want accessory. Down. Ba-boom. Good to go. Well, guys, I think we're all done. It is a very tedious little job, especially when you're getting the key cylinder all lined up again. But once it's in and it's lined up and you verify that the key rolls the direction that it's supposed to roll, it goes back together super smooth. If you have any questions, leave them in the comments. Please like and subscribe this video. And thanks for watching. See you guys on the next project.